Welcome back to the Expansion Pack podcast, where we download this week's content and bring it to you on our 20th episode, nonetheless. Thank you guys for joining us. I'm your host, Danzel, aka Black Ice 8, joined by my amazing co-host, as always, starting off with Goopmaster Flex, aka Manny. Flipping
Stay
it around.
Gooping,
Stay gooping, as always. Then, of course, you got Chris, aka May 25th. How you doing, bro?
Yeah, we are out here. It's been a long week, but we here for talking about some games. Get into it. Let's do it.
For sure.
Bye-bye.
All right, yeah. It has been a long week. We got a little bits and pieces of news here and there, but, we got a pretty big event that happened this week, and, of course, we'll get into that a little bit later. Manny's teasing it a little bit in his background there. But let's start it off with what we're playing, guys. So Manny, I'm gonna let you kick it off. What you been playing this week?
It's been a light gaming week, but for PlayStation this month, Final Fantasy 7 remake was free, so your boy had to
Yo, why is that not on Xbox, bro? That's messed up, yo.
They pay for exclusivity.
So I've been playing a little bit of Final Fantasy 7. It's it's fun.
Okay. Has it been fun, Manny?
I'm enjoying it. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay, good. Word.
Yeah.
That's it? Anything else?
Nah, like I said, it's been a light week for gaming for me, so
okay, word. I feel that.
Catching up on my anime.
Well,
hey.
Anything of note
about
anime?
You know what I'm saying? Black Clover is lit. If you haven't watched that, you gotta watch it. Also, Boruto, last episode. Well, episode 180, 189. Yo,
oh my god,
best fight.
So 60 episodes behind in Boruto at least. At least.
Once you get to 189, that fight, they changed the art style, and it was like I already know it's gonna be, you know what I'm saying, finger looking good.
Damn.
Okay, word.
You might get me back in.
Go ahead and endorse it right there.
God.
Word. All right, Chris, what you been playing?
Y'all already know it's been mostly Destiny, but guys, I finally found time to play Outriders. Oh my god, I beat the whole demo in one night. Whoa,
wow,
that was crazy, and I went in on that shit. It's weird, man. There are parts of that game I don't like. But god damn it, it done got your boy a little bit. And I don't know, maybe it'll change a little bit after the full game comes out and blah, blah, blah. But, yeah, there's certain aspects to it that I really do enjoy. There's certain things about that game that actually, gameplay-wise, remind me a lot of Mass Effect, which I know people probably gonna be like, what are you talking about? But I'm like, no, follow me, bro. Follow me. Mass Effect is the same 3v3 format, a lot of abilities, a lot of... using one bumper to do this ability, using one bumper to do that ability, using both of them to do the mega ability. Like, it's very much set up in that same exact way. The only thing that's different is, like, the healing mechanics in the game. Like, there isn't any potions or whatever to be taken. You just have to make sure you're getting damage off in the way your character has to do it in order to heal. But it's got some potential in my eyes. I wish... with the looter shooter stuff in particular, I'm always big on making me grind for stuff and then giving me a reason to give me something to, when I get this god roll, that I could bring it into another activity and just kick some ass with it. That's the one thing about Outriders I'm a little worried about, but so far, good first impression. But it's been that, Destiny, and a little bit of COD, a little bit of COD. I don't care. I still play Modern Warfare multiplayer. I know a lot of people are past that, but I still play a lot of it. All I gotta say is if you put the right attachments on that ISO, should be clapping. That should be clapping. That's all I'm gonna say. But yeah, that's what I've been doing.
Word.
Okay.
Been a pretty light week for me as well. Played a little bit of Destiny. Still been trying to drag Chris and a couple other people into this Master Presage mission, but we gonna get everybody together at some point. Some point. There's a glitch for those who don't know. There's a glitch where you can get up to 12 people in any activity. And so I'm trying to get at least 4 people into the Presage mission, make that shit super easy for us to get through. But having a hard time coordinating everybody.
Question about that.
What's up?
If all 4, say we got more than 3 people in that mission, and we complete it, everybody gets a reward at the end?
Everybody gets drops. Everybody.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's bugged. Okay.
Yep.
That's super bugged.
Bungie knows about it too, and they're like, nah, you good. You guys.
Now, I knew they knew about it. I just didn't know they would literally reward all 12 people.
Yeah, everybody's.
And I didn't know that was going to be a thing. Yep. That's crazy.
That's pretty hype. But yeah, outside of that, my Series S finally came in for the living room, so I'm playing a lot of games with my wife. I started her off on Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. She's been enjoying that so far. Then we've been playing a couple like party games like Boggle and Wheel of Fortune and so on and so forth. But then last night we started playing Man of Medan. Apparently there's an update, Chris, with like a curator's version of the story. Very different and a lot scarier.
Really?
Yeah. There's like a significant amount of jump scares. So my wife and I are playing on the big TV and like
I'm into that. Okay.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't have been having her play that because she's pregnant and she can't be over here like screaming and all that stuff while she's having contractions. Probably not the best idea. But either way, it was a lot of fun. So yeah, that's pretty much been it. I haven't been playing too much this week.
Dope.
Yeah.
Man.
But before we get into this week's topics, as always, we're gonna dive into the segment we all wait for every week. Every week. Look at it. Chris warming up. Warming up. Let us know, Chris.
Hey. It's time for the icebreaker, y'all. God damn it. All right. So this week, Birdman hands. God damn it. What is you guys' favorite? I don't know if the right word is soundtrack, but favorite music from any video game. So you could talk about intro music, outro music, environmental music. We could talk about, a lot of these open world games that allow us to drive around in a vehicle that has a radio. We could talk about those kind of soundtracks. We could talk about any kind of musical influence in a video game. Everybody kind of has like their go-tos. So I'm curious as to what you guys' would be. I actually have quite a few. I don't know if you guys would like me to go first, but yeah, I got quite a few.
Go ahead, bro. You started.
I got at least 3. I got like 3. I got 3, y'all. 3.
Actually, I don't know if I want you to go first. I feel like you're gonna take mine in the 3.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, Manny, you start off. We'll let you go last.
All right. Well, since I'm starting off, I'm gonna have to say, Rockstar always bring the bangers and the soundtracks with Grand Theft Auto. I know we were talking about it before we recorded, but like, I mean, we can't disagree. Like when Grand Theft Auto come out with like trailers, my boy Denzel dying over here. But like the trailers, like the songs they use in the trailers go perfect with what they're showing, or like just the way you hear like the soundtrack, the intro music, just like gets you hyped for the game. Like, and then when you just turn on Radio Los Santos and you just hear like my boy ASAP Rocky, the same with their like the GTA exclusive song when I first played Grand Theft Auto 5 for the first time. I mean, it's just like all hitters. Like I remember even just going back to Grand Theft Auto 4 and playing like the radio station there and the Beat 101, and like, bro, it's the bangers after bangers after bangers. So I'm gonna just have to say Grand Theft Auto is just always has the banging soundtrack, in my opinion.
Okay. All right.
Not surprised you said that. Obviously, we talked about it a little bit earlier. But yeah, I mean, it's hard to disagree, though. They definitely come correct with the music. For me, and I'm pretty sure this is on Chris's radar because we've definitely talked about it before. But I'm gonna go with I'm gonna take you for a ride. Take you for a ride.
That's not one of them, but that does have some good music.
Hey, Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Hey,
oh man.
Hey, that was the song, bro. And almost everybody who's ever played that game remembers that because that is a banger. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was playing
And
in
he
the
said this
menu.
nice price too. Oh man.
Hey. Yes, sir. That's my.
And then it'd be like Marvel versus Capcom 2. New Age Heroes. Oh,
No, it's not.
Then you press start. Bum, ba-dum, bum, bum. Gonna take you for a ride.
Yo, that shit
so
was
good.
hard. It was hard.
So good.
It was hard. I forgot about that. That's a good one. But it wasn't one of my 3. I'm surprised.
Nice.
Oh wow.
Good.
Oh, all right. So, the first one I gotta just throw out there. Need for Speed Underground 2. Fam. Need for Speed Underground 2 had some bangers. Bruh. I can't even remember half the songs because it's been a while, but I remember one in particular from Trey Little, and I don't even know who Trey Little is. I don't think he ever had mainstream success. I don't think he ever had a hit. But he had a hitter in Need for Speed, though, bro. Like, that shit was knocking, bro. So there was that. My number 2, and I shit on this game a lot nowadays, but I gotta give it to him. Kingdom Hearts, to this day, has one of the fieriest soundtracks ever. I don't care what nobody says. The game, but the music, bro. There's so many people who have sampled the Kingdom Hearts stuff to make beats, and like, bro, the shit hits, bro. It has a certain vibe to it that is, I don't know, it's a chef's kiss, bro. It's just good stuff. But all right, so my weirdo answer, my last one. My weirdo answer. Fallout 3. So the reason why I say this, no, it is because I feel
They
like
have the bangers. They have
do.
bangers.
Yeah.
They have
But
bangers.
nobody really listens to the radio in Fallout like that. I feel like they don't like listen to it while they're doing their activities. But I used to do that shit, especially if I had to do like a mission that required me to walk like mad far and I couldn't fast travel. Man, I put the radio on and I'd be listening to it. But bro, like, the Fallout radio stations have the most weirdest blend of music I think I've ever heard in a video game. I want to say because and they do well with that. It's supposed to seem like a radio station found whatever they could find out there in the wasteland for music, and they decided to give it to us. And that's exactly how it comes off while you're listening to it. There's times where you'll hear something that sounds like really old school Rocky. Then there's times where you'll hear some shit that sounds like some 1920s Billie Holiday sounding shit. Like, dude, I don't know what it is about that soundtrack, but it is soothing. It is, it's good shit, man. It's good shit.
It's really like a weird, like almost kind of surreal soundtrack to be listening to because, yeah, listening to 1920s Billie Holiday as you're walking around this absolutely devastated wasteland with like freaking mutant roaches coming at you and all that stuff. It's like, this is weird, but it works for Fallout.
It works, yeah, it really does. I don't know what it is, but I've always loved it. Because I remember one day in particular, I'm just walking through like there was no houses, there was no nothing. It was probably one of those areas that the Deathclaws usually hang out in. They're usually just out in random plain fields.
Yeah.
And I'm just walking, and then, dude, I don't know if it was Billie Holiday or who it was, but whoever it was had one of those old school voices, just that. I can't really describe it, but you know what I'm saying. And I'm just sitting there like, man, this is lovely. this is nice. I don't know who did this, but yeah, man, yeah, this is lovely. Oh,
that's a good pick, yo.
Yeah, honestly, like, you know, like even Fallout 4 and 76, they have some bangers too. So like, I wouldn't say it's a weird pick. I mean, you know, that's an underrated pick in my opinion.
Yeah, it's definitely underrated pick. It's weird because it's something that not a lot of people talk about. But yeah, like in essence, it is underrated. But yeah, I mean, Fallout's just a set of weird games. So like, it would stand to reason that their radio would be weird too. So word. All right, Chris. Thank you for the icebreaker this week. Good one as always. And guys, make sure you let us know what your favorite video game soundtrack or song is down in the comments below. But yeah, let's dive into this week's topics. The first thing I wanted to talk about here is we got a little game announcement from a pretty old franchise. Well, you know, a franchise that's been around for quite some time, and that's the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They announced this week that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge is dropping. It looks like it's actually being made by the same guy who made the Scott Pilgrim video game. I don't know if anybody got a chance to play that, but it's also like a side scroller. This one kind of looks like a spiritual successor to the old school Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles games that used to be on like NES and all that stuff. So it's a 4-person co-op, like side scrolling beat 'em up. It's like a fun game that brings back some nostalgia for sure. Something I'm actually pretty excited about. I'm hoping it looks like one of those games that you might check out on Game Pass.
Yeah.
But they said it's coming soon to. They didn't really give a release date specifically, but it was just announced this week, so it's supposed to be coming to consoles and PC via Steam. So yeah, I'm just curious what you guys think about this one. Chris, I'll let you start off.
I mean, I think it's cool for nostalgia reasons and things like that. I'll be 100% honest with y'all out there. In today's day and age, in 2021, I don't think Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles really does anything for me personally. But again, I think it's a great move for nostalgia. It's weird, man, because I almost wish that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles kind of took a turn like how Power Rangers did. A couple years ago, they came out with that movie and it kind of like rebranded everything. And then it almost feels like if they started from that point, people would take it more serious. But then you have to look at the previous 15 years of Power Rangers and putties and all that weird whack shit that they used to do all the time.
Yeah.
And it's kind of hard to kind of get over it. And so it's kind of the same thing with me with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, where it's like, I respect the hell out of it. It's a hell of a franchise. It just doesn't hit for me so much anymore. And then on top of that, side-scrolling games, like I really got to be in the mood to play something like this. So I see how somebody else out there could really love this. It's not really for me per se. Yeah.
Well, I remember you saying that, like, how like they should do like what Power Rangers do. I remember they had like their little live-action movie like a long time ago, which I thought was a pretty dope
good.
movie.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
bad.
Yeah.
I think it was just like a directed by Michael Bay movie, so everybody was probably like, "Oh, Michael Bay." But
he's good at his explosions, y'all.
He is.
Damn.
He's really good at that.
Yeah. Man, I know people just complain, like, "Oh, it's just too much explosions." But yeah, I mean, the game, side scroll and beat 'em up, it's like one of those classic games. It kind of like, like you said, it's like a spiritual successor to like, like the old ones, made by the same creators as Scott Pilgrim. And I remember too, even like it was like a long time ago when I used to go to the Boys and Girls Club. They had the arcade machine of the Simpsons side scrolling game, and that one used to smack. So like, if there is like a multiplayer element where you could just like play online, because like nowadays, with COVID and everything like that, there's not too many couch co-op, anymore. So like, I just think, if it's like a $20, $30 game, I mean, I might try it out.
Yeah, I think the co-op would be key element to me that would kind of make it stick for people because like you said, not really as much couch co-op going on. Even outside of COVID, couch co-op's just kind of been like on the decline as it is. But if they can allow the option for couch co-op and online co-op, absolutely something that can be in this game's corner for sure. To your point though, Chris, about that franchise as a whole, like I don't know if it can undergo like a rebranding to make it as serious as you could make Power Rangers. Power Rangers, for all its silliness, like it's still human beings doing like these things, so you can kind of make it more grounded in reality. You can't ground in reality like a bunch of turtles like
with a rat master.
Yeah, standing up,
animals,
fighting kung fu and all that stuff. Like you can't ground that in reality. That's just gonna have to be ridiculous and just let it be ridiculous. But I do think the franchise should have a lot of legs in the gaming world. Like, as much as I am excited for this side scroller, why is there no like 3D fighting? Well, not like a fighting game per se, but like some 3D version of this game that plays like, I don't know, something like Arkham Knight or something along those lines, where like you're protecting, you're in New York, you probably have some access to the sewer systems as the turtles and whatnot, and it's all 3D, and they can like fight, the what's it? What is Shredder's people? It's not the hand, is it? The foot.
I think it is. I think it is the hand.
I think it's the foot. I think the hand is Marvel. Either way.
Yeah, the hand is definitely Marvel.
Yeah, I think it's the foot. I think they're called the foot. Yeah. But yeah, either way, the point is, like, you know, you can make it some sort of like open world ish game and like actually have like, you know, them be able to fight. I don't know what the term would be, but the closest thing I can think of is like the Batman Arkham series. Mm-hmm. For you to just be in the open world and running around doing all that stuff, and then you still have like April in the game, and what's the dude with the hockey mask? Casey?
Oh shit! Damn.
You take me way back. So
you really did. The hockey mask, dude. I don't even be thinking about.
Well, I know exactly what you're talking about with the hockey mask,
bro. But like, imagine how sick that would be, and then like you're like that's just another person that you could be. So like, I guess if we're gonna stick with the Batman Arkham stuff, like think of the Gotham Knights. Like Gotham Knights is supposed to be this co-op game or whatever. Imagine just doing that. So like co-op, open world, and then we're all like riding around on our fucking skateboards, because they used to ride on skateboards. Like, oh, that would actually be a lot of fun.
Facts. We're gonna get some pizza with the boys.
That's a way to make the game a little bit more relevant, because I'm pretty sure like what you said, Chris, like as far as the sentiment of like, all right, like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game is really just relying on nostalgia, especially when you're factoring the side scroller. But if you like bring it to 2021 with like a more modern feel as far as the game itself goes, like it's almost instantly irrelevant. It doesn't have to be grounded in reality as long as it's a fun game that like meets the time. So hopefully if this game pops off, that might be an idea that they might float around. We'll see.
Yeah. Definitely. Like as you said that too, like it reminds me of I don't think they would go this route, but it would be cool if they did like a GTA 5 thing, you know, like how you kind of can like switch between your characters whenever you want to on the fly. That would be really cool to do in a Ninja Turtles game, because even though again it's not really for me too much, but I will acknowledge the fact that they did really try hard to make sure all of them had their own personalities.
Oh yeah, they definitely do.
And their own weapons and their own color schemes and all that stuff. And so I think it could be cool to say, oh, let me play with Michelangelo for a second, and you switch into his body, and this man's just at a pizza store begging for a slice, and then you switch over to Donatello, and he's like in a lab working on something, and like that could be cool. But they won't do that.
They won't. You're right. They won't. It's unlikely. Something would have to really pop off, and they would have to get the money to like. We're talking about a AAA game right there that you just referenced, right? So they would have to get a lot of money to be able to pull that off. But you know, it's a pipe dream, but it would be pretty cool. We'll see.
It's a hopeful, you know what I'm saying? Maybe one day.
Yeah, maybe one day. But yeah, so you know, obviously we're talking about games getting announced this week. We'll move on to our next topic here. Actually, in this coming week, when most of you guys will probably be listening to this, there's a Square Enix event that's supposed to be hitting March 18th. Not too much is known about this event, but you know, Square Enix did kind of drop like a little bit of information about what we can come to expect. So we're definitely supposed to be seeing a new Life is Strange game. So that's going to be pretty cool. But they gave us some information as far as other things we can expect featured. I don't exactly know what that means, but we should be seeing more on Outriders. We should be seeing more on Marvel's Avengers, more on Tomb Raider's 25th anniversary, a new Square Enix Montreal game, Just Cause Mobile, whatever that is, and Balan Wonderland, which actually is an interesting game that I think Microsoft announced in their pre-showcase last summer. Looked pretty cool, like kind of anime inspired and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, what do you guys think about this so far? What are you guys expecting to see from this showcase, Manny?
Yeah, I'm definitely excited for what they have to, you know, announce or showcase with the whole Tomb Raider 25th anniversary. I know I also heard that they're gonna do like not a remaster, but like I guess you could call it a remaster for the last trilogy we got for the new next gen consoles. So I heard about that as well. It's gonna get, you know, it's 4K and HDR and all that kind of stuff, even though like, you know, it is backwards compatible in the end. But I'll say that's one thing I'm, you know, excited for. And then, of course, the Life is Strange. I know that game, has been very successful, and I know how everybody's, loving that franchise. So, it's good for them to announce a new game in the series. And yeah, maybe even some Marvel Avengers. I know that game's been hasn't been doing too well since launch, but we got the new Hawkeye DLC coming soon, as well as maybe hopefully to showcase some future DLC and this showcase, and yeah.
I think this week is supposed to be like their next gen update, so it's going to get upgrades to 4K 60 frames, and that's really all they've been. Obviously, like the load times you'll get benefits from for obviously having an SSD in the first place, but I don't think they talked too much else about anything for the next gen version of the game. So maybe this will be their opportunity to showcase a little bit more about it. But yeah, Chris, what do you think about this all so far?
I think it's kind of cool. It's kind of interesting how Square Enix's name, like, granted they're Square Enix, so like most people know about them, but the last few weeks I've been seeing their name like crazy, and maybe it's because of a lot of Outriders news and stuff like that, but it's kind of interesting that they've been so prevalent in the news game right now. And I'll also say, there's a part of me that's a little excited about this because it almost feels like Square Enix is trying to shed away some of the older stuff that they used to do. In a way, I don't know if they are completely, but it feels like they're taking chances with new stuff. Because Outriders, to me especially, is different to me than anything they've tried before. And so when they say that they have a new IP that they might be talking about, I'm excited to hear about that. And like stuff like that kind of makes me curious to see what they do with Final Fantasy and things like that going forward. So I'm here for any Final Fantasy news, even though I talk shit about it, but it's only because I want it to evolve. Not because I hate it. I just want it to change. Yeah, I'm very curious to see what they're talking about. I hope they got some really good news to talk about. Hopefully they shed some more light on Outriders in terms of their endgame stuff too, especially because I think some of us saw that video, but not the masses really like saw that, I think. So I don't know. I'm just excited to see what they got coming up, and I'm not gonna try to be too negative on this. Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for it as well. It's starting to feel like we're kicking off this influx of news, right? Like obviously, we just got last week the Bethesda roundtable, which we're going to talk about a little bit more soon. But we're getting this event. Rumors have it that the week afterwards we might be getting another event from Microsoft. So it seems like we're starting to get a steady flow of news, like bigger news, leading up to the E3 season, which who knows if that'll even be a thing in the same way that we've known about it in the past. But yeah, I mean, talking about all the things that they've outlined in their little preview for the event, like Outriders, we definitely want to see more about that. Like Chris mentioned, we want to know a little bit more about the end game. Something to get all the people who've been playing, the people who've been playing the demo and really been getting excited about it. Something to get them hooked to say, okay, hey, we have an end game in sight for you guys. Avengers, that game really needs a lot of work. Obviously, like we've discussed, it does seem like Crystal Dynamic is pretty invested in the game because they did come out on one of the Twitch streams answering questions for fans. And I think they have a little quote here. It says, we understand, but talking a reference to support for the game long term. It said, we understand, but rest assured that we're committed to the future of Marvel's Avengers for years to come. And I've been working on a whole lot of things we're excited to reveal. Looking forward to seeing you there in next gen. So I'm more than confident that Thursday we're probably going to get a lot of news. I think we still need to see Black Panther. That was something that was teased a while ago. We know that they're supposed to be dropping Spider-Man content, which will be exclusive to PlayStation. So things like that could breathe some new life into the game. I think the game really needs some crossplay. I think it would really, I'm banging the drum for that everywhere anyways, but a game like that I think could definitely benefit from crossplay, cross progression, and all that jazz, especially considering you don't really have as big of a player base. Probably could benefit from being in Game Pass as well. So let's hope we start to see things like that. The Tomb Raider 25th anniversary thing. Now, Manny, you mentioned something about them remastering the previous trilogy that came out. I really hope that's not the case. I like when did this happen? So Pokemon 25th anniversary, Zelda, or is it 20th or 25th? I don't remember. There's an anniversary for Pokemon, anniversary for Zelda this year. I don't remember the exact years, but those two things specifically have just been met with, hey, here's a remaster. Like,
yeah.
Like, what the fuck, man?
Like, yeah, I mean, part of it I feel like is because I'm sorry to cut you off, but like, you know, I just feel like I want to say it's lazy, but it's just like, like maybe just like a little like, here you go for now. I know we're taking forever with the next Tomb Raider, but COVID, so here's a little something, updated graphics, 60 frames, this, that.
Yeah.
So like that's the only thing I can see with them like releasing it, but like I understand what you mean. It's like we want something new.
Yeah.
You know,
we really want something new. Like I love the that previous trilogy of Tomb Raider games. You don't have to give it to me this year, right? Like I understand that timelines are completely off whack because of COVID, but I want to see something, bro. Like I want to see next gen Laura doing some crazy shit. Like I don't want to see a rehash of what we already had, Like I need to see something new. So I'm really hoping that they're focusing on that. I know that, and then this is the other weird thing about the Avengers game. Like Crystal Dynamics is the studio who was making the Tomb Raider franchise. So, and they did an excellent job with it. So to see that they're focused on Avengers, like I don't know how big that studio is. I don't know if they have half the team working on Avengers, half the team working on Tomb Raider, but like that's the team, Crystal Dynamics, that's the team I want working on the next Tomb Raider. And I don't want their resources being pulled towards a game that they've very clearly kind of like fumbled the ball with in the first place. Like I want something new and good from Tomb Raider team. But, we'll see Thursday what comes about. I am really excited about this new Square Enix game. We'll see what that's all about too. I'm going to be completely honest with you though. The rest of the list I don't particularly care about. Just Cause I think is a fantastic game, but I don't want to play that on mobile.
Not my thing either.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and I think that if they like figured out some way to make that like a multiplayer game, like Just Cause like competitive multiplayer game, I think that could be kind of cool because like flying around in the air with grappling hooks and all that stuff could be fun. But I don't give a damn about mobile games most of the time. And this Balan Wonder World game, I personally don't know what to think about it. Chris, I'm actually kind of surprised you're not excited about this game because I think this actually might be a game that.
Let me look this up real quick because I think this is the same game that I think I know what you're talking about here with this. Hold on 1 second. Oh, okay, yeah. So okay, Outriders did it for me because Outriders has like the mature tone to it, I guess. So like when I first looked at it, I said, "Oh, this appeals to me." But see, this kind of falls back to me in like some of the older Square Enix stuff where it's like, granted, I didn't really watch any trailers or anything for this yet, but just visually, it's colors, good graphics. I'm worried about the gameplay. Worried about the gameplay. It's just. I don't know.
You think this is just one of those things where like it's kind of an area of gaming that you've grown out of?
A little bit. Because I see spots where they can improve a lot of this stuff and make it better, but a lot of games they rest on their laurels with this stuff. So perfect example I can give is, and this is a criminally underrated JRPG franchise, the Ni no Kuni series. Dude, if you play Ni no Kuni Wrath of the White Witch, and that one is more, it's turn-based, but it's not turn-based, because like you have an arena that you're in, and yeah, you guys have to take turns doing like moves and stuff, but you can move around freely. It's kind of like where Final Fantasy started to go after a few years too, where they let you do a little bit more on the field rather than just sitting there and you know what I'm saying? More than just that. So, but like they evolved it when they came out with the sequel. The sequel came out a couple years back, and then the gameplay mechanics went even further than just making you be able to move around and stuff. And they did a couple really cool things. And I want more games to do that. If you're gonna stay in that JRPG boat, y'all gotta start coming up with more ways to entice me to keep playing the game more than like a day or two, rather than enhancing the graphics but leaving the gameplay the same exact way. So because like the new Dragon Quest game that's on Game Pass that came out a couple months ago. I started playing that, and it's cool and it's fun, just like how the old ones used to be. But that's it. That's it.
They still rely on the same gameplay loop kind of thing.
Yes, very much so, bro. And it's just like they got to switch that up. That's why Breath of the Wild hit, because Breath of the Wild was them taking a whole nother take on Zelda, and completely just like fleshing it out and giving you a lot of freedom in your choices. You didn't get that in any of the old Zelda games ever, really. The most choice you had was what, like, accessory equipment thing you wanted to put on to do something. And that's about it. Whereas Breath of the Wild, man, they just opened the whole entire chest for you and let you just do what you want. That's kind of more what I'm waiting for. And it's the same thing with Pokemon, too, right? We talk about this all the time. Why is Pokemon still taking so long just to let us go do what we want to do? You know what I mean? Like, it's just... Yeah, it's the style of gaming. I still see where it can exist in this climate, but they are resting on laurels so bad, and it's just like, damn, man, nobody's trying nothing new.
Yeah, it's interesting because it feels like, as a whole, and you've mentioned this as well. That's kind of where Square Enix seems to be, right? Like they try to balance this legacy stuff with like some of the new age stuff. Like, you know, this is the company that brought us Final Fantasy, brought us Kingdom Hearts, and, you know, the games that you're talking about, the style of games that you're talking about. And now they're in a world where Destiny exists, and, you know, so on and so forth. And they're trying to come out with Outriders. They're trying to come out with Avengers. It's really interesting to see, like, that they have to shuttle the line between so many different things. I'm curious, you know, and I obviously this will be step one of where I think they believe the new Square Enix will be. Definitely something to keep our eye on. Definitely something I'm very interested in, and I'm hoping, you know, they gave us like what 5-6 talking points here. I'm hoping there's a couple other surprises in there that, you know, maybe they didn't necessarily talk about. Obviously, that new Square Enix Montreal game, like, we have no idea what the hell that is. So hopefully that's going to be something pretty big and important. You know, I'm looking to see some heavy hitters here, like some real AAA titles to get us all excited for, you know, more next gen stuff and so on. So something to keep our eye on. But talking about one publisher, one studio to another big studio, Bethesda, man. The big news finally dropped, or I guess, you know, we finally got the acquisition out of the way. So, man, it's something that, you know, we've been talking about pretty much since the beginning of the podcast. It's pretty much been a looming topic in gaming from the moment it was announced. So finally, Bethesda is a part of Microsoft's family, or Xbox's family, officially. So acquisition's complete as of last Tuesday, and then last Thursday, they dropped a about an hour and a half long roundtable discussion. They had Pete Hines there, kind of the face and the head of Bethesda. Obviously, Phil Spencer, Aaron Greenberg, Todd Howard showed up. You know, they got a lot of different names in there. The big thing that, you know, we'll start off talking about first and foremost, because that's really the headline of it all, is the discussion around the exclusivity and whether or not Bethesda games will be exclusive to Xbox, yada yada yada. I know we've been talking about this from day one. I believe that Xbox games. I always believe that Bethesda games are going to be on Xbox exclusively. It's just so funny because this quote came out. Phil Spencer said everything that he said. The first thing that he said was, you know, you guys keep asking me about this, and realistically, I can't tell you anything because we haven't actually talked to anyone, and we can't talk to anyone until the acquisition is over. So the first thing is, now that it's over, they can actually start having those discussions. But the big quote that it seems like everybody heard what they wanted to hear from that, because I feel like it solidified what I thought all along, and I guess other people who think differently than I do say the same thing. It solidified what they thought all along. So I guess it's just a matter of perspective. But, you know, I'll just get into the quote real quick. So, on the topic of exclusivity, Phil Spencer says, quote, "Obviously, I can't sit here and say that every Bethesda game is an exclusive, because we know that that's not true. There are contractual obligations that we're going to see through, as we always do in these instances. We have games that exist on other platforms, and we're going to go support those games on the platforms they're on. They're communities of players. We love those communities, and we'll continue to invest in them. And even in the future, there might be some things that we have contractual things or legacy on different platforms that will go do. But if you're an Xbox customer, this is the thing that I want you to know. This is about delivering great exclusive games for you that ship on platforms where Game Pass exists. And that's our goal. That's where we're doing this. Or that's why we're doing this. That's the root of the partnership that we're building and the creative capability we will be able to bring to the market for our Xbox customers. So basically, I take that as fucking Bethesda games are going to be on Xbox and they're not going to be on PlayStation. But for whatever reason, we're still having this conversation. And when he talks about contractual obligations, they're talking about the exclusivity deal that Bethesda already ironed out with PlayStation for like Deathloop and for Ghostwire Tokyo, right? Like they have to ship those games on PlayStation because they already signed contracts. And then the thing that I think is interesting, and I'll get you guys' input on this in a second for sure, but he mentions legacy. And for whatever reason, people online were like, oh, like he said legacy. So like they're talking about legacy franchises like Fallout and Elder Scrolls. So then the next Fallout is obviously going to be on PlayStation. The next Elder Scrolls is obviously going to be on PlayStation because those are legacy games that have been on PlayStation before. No, like what the fuck? It doesn't make any sense to me. Like to me, when he says legacy games, just like when Microsoft talks about anything else that's legacy, they're talking about something that's already released. Like, for example, Fallout 76. It already exists on PlayStation. They're not going to pull it off of PlayStation. They're going to continue to support it. Elder Scrolls Online. It already exists on PlayStation. They're not going to pull it off of PlayStation. They're going to continue to support it. Deathloop, Ghostwire. Those things will continue to live on PlayStation, but you're not going to fucking see Starfield on there. You're not going to see Elder Scrolls 6 on there. You're not going to see Fallout 5 on there. It just doesn't make any sense. Like, and it's something that's been said over and over and over again. But you don't spend $7.5 billion on a company to then go put that stuff on your competitor's console. It just doesn't make any sense. So, sorry. I was going off on my little rant. But I just think it's amazing how like people are still, even after hearing this quote, still coming to the conclusion that games are going to be on PlayStation, and then like attacking people who think that line of thinking doesn't make sense. It's like, oh well, why would you want Elder Scrolls to only be on Xbox? Well, it's not a matter of I want that. It's just like logical business sense. Like, if you think Microsoft spent that money to go do that, then why don't they put Halo on PlayStation? Why don't they put Gears of War on PlayStation? It just doesn't, like, none of it makes sense. But, sorry, I'm going to stop talking. I want to hear what you guys think about this. So, Manny, talk to me.
I definitely agree. Microsoft doesn't need to put any games on PlayStation for them to make any money out of it or anything like that. Like they could just put on the Game Pass platforms, like the PC. There's plenty of PC players that have, access to Game Pass. All you just have to do is download it. And pay like, I don't know how much you charge for Game Pass for like PC itself. It's probably like $10. $10
a month.
But like, you know what I'm saying? Like all you have to do is that and they get, it on Game Pass, or even just buy it outright from the, Microsoft store itself on the PC. And the same thing with, consoles, like, there's plenty of Xbox players around the world that, has access to Game Pass, and they know that they're going to strive because all those games will be on Game Pass. So, drop games like Starfield, Fallout, the new Elder Scrolls. It doesn't need to be on PlayStation for them to make money off of it. Like, it just, the only other future games I see is probably going to be, I know you mentioned Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo, but I'm sure probably that Indiana Jones game is probably going to be on PlayStation as well because of contract reasons. Exactly. So you better have fun with your games you got right now, PlayStation, because once they announce that what is it called, the new Starfield, Elder Scrolls, Fallout is going to be world premiere, exclusive on Game Pass platforms. And I can't wait to see that, and everybody's going to rant all over social media like, oh, this sucks. That means I have to buy this to play that, or what I'm saying? But
we've been telling you all along.
I mean, what do you expect? Like you said, who's going to spend $7.5 billion just to put, the games that they're making into their competitors' platform. Like they don't need to in order to like, keep that fan base or whatever. Like, yeah, they're gonna get a lot of hate at first, but like in the end, it's it's the right business move for them.
Yeah, every opportunity that they have to sell a game on a PlayStation platform is the less likely that somebody will go ahead and buy Game Pass. And like that's really what they're trying to sell, right? Like yeah, they're trying to sell Xbox consoles, but they want to sell you on Game Pass. They want you to have that $10 or that $15 every month. Like they know that's residual income. We're just gonna keep getting that money from you, keep getting that money from you. That's their end game. So why the hell would they go put it on a platform that doesn't like the only way that you'll see anything like that on PlayStation is if PlayStation decides, hey, we're gonna put Game Pass on our platform. And that'll never happen. So the hell.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah. Well, Chris?
Yeah. So I just want to start off my bit by saying I literally tweeted this out 4 days ago because I've been trying to be more active on Twitter, y'all. I've really been trying.
Okay.
It says, and I quote, "When y'all gonna stop playing and announce Starfield and ES6 as a console exclusive so I can watch the internet cry?" Y'all don't believe me? Your boy.
It's not gonna do it. It's not gonna do it.
Whatever. Yeah. Follow your boy MAY25THXX. God damn it. Listen, I said it then 4 days ago. I still feel it now. Everything you guys said, like I gotta echo. Like it's just nobody would spend that much money just to be able to play nice with somebody. Like that just don't make no fucking sense. That's like T-Mobile acquiring Sprint and then trying to like share their towers with Verizon. That makes no sense. Like it just doesn't work. It doesn't make any sense. I honestly feel like a lot of the argument that's coming from the PlayStation side of things is two things. How many years have we had to deal with the whack ass conversation of, well, we got the hitter games, we got the and we've all as Xbox dudes had to been like, yes, my liege, you do have the good games. We cannot argue with that. Yes, my liege, yes. Right? We've constantly had to just like deal with that because it's a fact.
Yeah,
we
it's fact.
can't deny it. Mm-hmm. And now that it's a situation where y'all beloved Bethesda games are being taken away from your platform, people are threatened. Like that is just what it is. Like I don't care what nobody says. You can pull up any RPG you want to. Skyrim is widely regarded by many people as their favorite RPG ever. You taking away the people who made that shit from PlayStation, they a little threatened. They don't want to have to go out and spend another couple $100 on another console to play these games. But that's damn well what you're going to have to do. Yeah. And I don't feel bad because we've had to do that to play Last of Us and God of War and all the other kind of stuff if we like being on Microsoft. So at the end of the day, it's all fair in love and war. I don't give a fuck if y'all crying. I'll drink them tears. I don't care. Listen. I don't care. I'm supposed to be like, yo, you're cutthroat sometimes. Oh well. I'm sorry.
No, but it is what it is. Yeah, it's just part of the business. It's like, yeah, it sucks that like, it's not going to be on like I don't love the idea of taking away access for like certain franchises and certain games for people. Like I don't love that idea, but that's just kind of the nature of the business. Like just like God of War exists only on PlayStation, just like Last of Us and Uncharted and all those games, they exist only on PlayStation, just like Mario exists only on Nintendo. Like that makes sense. It's a business decision. Like I don't know, whatever. Like Spider-Man only exists on PlayStation consoles. Like I don't know. I just don't understand this narrative that people go through about like, oh, you shouldn't be celebrating this because like whatever, what have you. It's like no, like these people, these developers now are going to have almost unlimited resources to sit there and make the best games that they can possibly make. And yeah, that means the games that they make will be better, but they just won't be on PlayStation. Like, what do you freaking do? Like, go buy an Xbox. I'm going to go buy, like, I'm still waiting till one comes available, but I'm going to go buy a PS5 so I can go play Ragnarok and I can go play Horizon. Like, it's just, the argument is just so silly, man. And it's just like people like, the fanboy wars continuing on. Like gaming is so rich, and there's so many different advantages to every single platform. Like, just let I don't know. Just let shit be, yo. Just let shit be.
Yeah.
Microsoft is killing it. They're willing to invest money in games. And the other thing that people like neglect to talk about often, there's two things in particular. There was a story that came out this week that said that Sony was actually looking to buy exclusivity on Starfield before the whole Microsoft deal went down. So like, and then those same people who are mad about Microsoft doing this, like, don't care about Sony like buying exclusivity. It's just so weird, like the double standards that happen sometimes. Like Sony bought the exclusivity of Deathloop, they bought the exclusivity of Ghostwire Tokyo, because I remember Ghostwire Tokyo being announced earlier, and I think I forget his name, but the CEO of Tango Gameworks, he was on stage for a Microsoft press conference, like talking a little bit about Ghostwire, and then like a year later, Sony bought the exclusivity, so poof, that was gone. So like, I don't know, it's just like Microsoft instead was like, let's just buy the whole studio, and they are already, as you can tell from the roundtable, they already had good relationships with Pete Hines. They already had good relationship with Todd Howard. Like Todd Howard mentioned a specific story around Fallout 76 and how badly that got messed up. And
I was going to mention that too.
Yeah, he said one of the first people he called was Phil. So it's like, this isn't a hostile takeover. This isn't like manufactured friendship or whatever. Like, these people were already partners. Like, and they referenced it in that whole roundtable discussion, like the legacy that Xbox and Bethesda have together, right? Like the very first Bethesda console game, being Morrowind, was on Xbox, and they partnered with Microsoft heavily to get that on there. So like, I don't know, it's just weird to me, man. Like, everybody's just all up in arms about really weird stuff.
Entitlement. Woo! That's what it is. I'm entitled. I got the same game for 5 to 10 years, and now I'm not getting it no more. So now I wanna cry, and I wanna cry, and shut that whack shit up, man. It's the same thing as like people who do the whole Apple Android thing, and they make it into this huge war, and then you find a couple people who are just well above that shit, and they're just like, well, I have one of each. One of each fucking, and then
Hi.
Right?
One of them. Yeah.
Shit. And like, this is my daily driver, yes, but if I want to, because who did I watch? It wasn't MKBHD. It was somebody else, which I think he also does the 2-phone thing too. But it was somebody else I was watching, and they were basically like, "Listen, my Android is my baby. This is my daily driver, but I ain't gonna hold y'all. I know this iPhone be fucking snapping when it comes to taking these photos and these videos. So when I go on vacation and shit, I'm not taking my Android. I take my iPhone with me, and I just switch out my SIM card, and I go and I take all my good photos. I come back home, and I switch back to my Android. If you have the luxury to be able to do those kind of things, awesome. But like, you notice how those folks don't make it a thing. It's more of a, I need this to be productive in this way at this time, so I'm going to use this. And
use the right tools for the job.
That's all it is, And it's like, people turn this thing into such a huge, weird war, and it makes me laugh. That's why I said I want to see them cry, because they're going to cry. The minute they announce that this shit is exclusive, that's not right, that's not fair. We're going to get all the Reddit posts up their ass. It's going to be, they're going to turn it into a huge mess. And I just pray that Microsoft just do one of them.
Just laugh, all you gotta do, laugh to the bank.
What else are you supposed to do? What else are you supposed to do? Like, and I love that you mentioned the whole Fallout 76 thing too, because that was the other point I was going to make, was that, dude, this is Bethesda up until now is widely regarded for 2 games. And they have a lot of other games too, but there's 2 games that hold up their shit really high, obviously. Fallout, Elder Scrolls. The rest of their games, while they are very, very good games, they don't get the same exposure, love, respect, any of that shit as the top 2 ones do. But now being on Game Pass, it's such a big thing. And, again, he mentioned the whole, the game was floundering. We had a lot of issues with the game at launch. He didn't hold any punches. He was very honest. He was like, yeah, this shit was fucking up.
They failed, yeah.
And, the fact that this stuff gets to come onto Game Pass too, it don't do shit but help Bethesda grow bigger too, in a sense, because now people who would have never went out and bought Evil Within because they're so stuck on maybe Resident Evil or Silent Hill or whatever. They have a chance to go try it out now and see if they like it. You know, I think you had mentioned something about Dishonored now too. Dishonored, nobody talks about Dishonored, bro. Nobody. But this shit is a hitter. And like now people can try it out and see. The dude said I think Fallout 76 is one of the most played games now on Game Pass. That's wild, man. That's man, they just threaten. They just threaten. That's all this is, man. They just mad. Y'all been talking all that big shit for over a decade. Now we're finally coming to sit at the table with a couple of exclusive games, and y'all gonna be stewing and mad because that Starfield, when that Starfield trailer dropped, y'all know that shit gonna be hitting. What? As soon as it does that little Starfield logo at the end, the internet's gonna explode. Watch. Yeah, I'm telling you that right now, bro. Right, watch.
Any Todd Howard game is met with like, and for as much as everybody wants to talk trash about, you know, the shortcomings of 76 and, you know, some people not liking 4 as much as people want to talk all that trash, like any game that Todd Howard's name is attached to, like people really pay a lot of attention to it. So if this is Todd Howard's next baby, it matters. It's just that simple. It matters. It's automatically a big deal. It's no different than Hideo Kojima dropping Ghost Stranded or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Or
Death
Stranding. Sorry, getting my games mixed up. But then even in that same breath, like since we're looping it back over to Bethesda and whatnot, like Tango Gameworks, that's like a really big studio that I don't think people are talking about enough, right? What's his name again? Mikami-san? The guy, he's the one who I think he was one of the people who were originally doing Resident Evil, right? And now he's the head of Tango Gameworks. So they made the Evil Within 1, Evil Within 2, and then they're making this new Ghostwire Tokyo game. Like, I want to know what that next game is going to be. Like they make like amazing horror games, and there's that that legacy there. Like, obviously I've talked about this many times. Like Resident Evil is my favorite game franchise of all time. So if one of the original creators of that is now under Microsoft making like more games and having, again, virtually limitless resources to make some of the most crazy shit that he could think of, I don't care if you are only an Xbox gamer. Like everybody wins in that scenario because now these people are going to be making like some of the world's greatest creators being given basically blank checks to make amazing content. Like that is good for everyone. Doesn't matter who you are. So yeah, I'm super excited to see what Tango Gameworks got going on. Arcane Studios, I'm trying to see a Dishonored 3. Come talk to your boy. Get me that as soon as possible. Put that shit on Game Pass. I'm here for all of it, man. Like, there's so much good stuff.
I was gonna say this year's events in E3 is gonna be crazy.
Not talking about E3, fellas.
As much as my heart hurts to talk about E3 of past, Manny does bring up another point though. They did, one of the things or pieces of news that came out of that roundtable discussion is the two marketing heads, because it looks like for the most part Bethesda's going to continue to operate as its own entity. Like I don't think they're going to get absorbed under the Microsoft or Xbox Game Studios banner. Like they'll still be Bethesda. So it looks like they're still keeping like their publishing arm. They're still keeping their marketing teams and all that stuff, but they will be working closely with the Xbox marketing teams. So like we saw live on air that Erin Greenberg and oh god, I forgot her name. Damn. I feel bad forgetting her name because she seems like she was a whip, bro. She was telling Aaron what was up on stage. But it seems like the two marketing heads are going to come together to put together a really big game showcase, like a Bethesda game showcase plus an Xbox game showcase together, and I think that's going to be amazing because Microsoft already, like the Xbox team already does a really good job of putting together a showcase at like their E3 showcases and whatnot. And Bethesda, we know that like the E3 showcases that they've had in the past have hit. Like they always have really big, granular things like going on, and it's very entertaining. It's very engaging. So basically, each of those studios or each of those companies, I should say, would have already been putting together like a 1 hour plus show as it is. So like to mash that together, like Bethesda, we see all the different studios that they kind of rolled through in their like studio spotlight. Like they got ZeniMax Online, they have Arcane, The two Arcane studios, they have Tango Gameworks, like we mentioned. They have Bethesda Game Studio as well. Like there's a lot of studios in there, and they've probably got a decent amount of games to show off this year. So combining those two companies, Xbox and Bethesda, together to show off like a game showcase, oh man, yeah, it's gonna be wild.
Yeah, man.
Oh,
excite.
Man. Yes.
Excite.
I cannot wait. I can't wait for the summer, man. And hopefully, this rumor that's supposed to be there's supposed to be another Microsoft event coming. What is it? The 23rd, I believe it was. 25th. 25th was the rumor. 25th. So, hopefully we get some new news, something different that we haven't really seen yet. Maybe we get a Halo Infinite update or something. Like,
that'd be nice.
Yeah,
that'd be real nice.
Actually, I will say they've actually been sliding a couple Halo Infinite updates like under the radar. I think last week, and maybe we should have covered it, but I think there was a decent amount of news last week, anyways. But I think they announced that they're not going to be bringing back dual wielding in Halo, and like a couple other things, like little sandbox updates. So like it seems like the team over there at 343 is just kind of plugging away. They have things that they're doing, but they're not really giving us anything big just yet. And I'm actually okay with that. Like I want them to just keep plugging away at that game and make sure that it's the best that it can possibly be before they release it, because that is the big hit for this fall coming, or this holiday season, I guess you could say. Like so far from what we know is coming, it's God of War and it's Halo, and those are like two of the biggest franchises in gaming. So yeah, it's gonna be an interesting year, especially because that'll give us a chance to see more and more of what these next gen systems can do. We keep calling them next gen, but at this point it's just current.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Speaking
of which, Chris,
this upcoming week, hopefully.
Yeah.
I looked at the thing. I don't know if you guys knew, but you guys can actually look at when your money's supposed to go in now. They
for the
thing up.
Okay.
Yeah. So it says Wednesday. So let's go out on Wednesday and see if I could try my luck.
All right. Yeah. Stimulus money gonna get Chris an Xbox, hopefully. Hopefully.
I hope so.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Right.
But the other thing I just wanted to kind of touch on a little bit before we ended the podcast is in addition to that Bethesda event, the one of the big pieces of news I guess that came out was that Friday we got about 20 different Bethesda games dropping into Game Pass. Some of them were already there, like Doom Eternal and whatnot. I think Dishonored 2 might have already been in there as well. But we got the first Dishonored, we got Evil Within, which I went ahead and downloaded as well. Prey, Skyrim, oh man, the whole gamut. I think the old Dooms as well, Doom 1, 2, 3. Morrowind, yeah, man. I mean,
all of it.
All the legacy stuff. And a lot of that stuff got, boosted by the things that we've talked about before. They got FPF boost through Xbox. A lot
Fallout
of really
3's
cool
on there
stuff.
too?
Fallout 3, I believe, is on there. Yeah, man. So a lot of stuff to go back and play. If you guys have never tested out some of these Bethesda franchises, definitely recommend giving them a try, especially Dishonored. Because I feel it in my bones. In the next year or two, I think we're gonna get a Dishonored 3 announcement. So
yeah,
sir.
I get the feeling too when they do announce it, it's gonna get like the proper marketing and shit. Because it's not like it didn't have any before, but like a lot of people, you ask them today, "Yo, you play Dishonored?" Was that? I don't know why a lot of people think it's like an army game or some shit, and I guess it kind of maybe the name of it.
I guess I can kind of see that.
Yeah. But yeah, it just doesn't get no kind of love, bro. Yeah. I think this next one will.
Yeah.
But they'll make it one of the top ones.
One of the things I think about too, like a lot of these games, like the ones that we're talking about from Bethesda, like these are really good games. Wolfenstein, amazing game. Dishonored, when it came out, I think it got nominated for some Game of the Years. But like, there's a lot of other games that just kind of fall through the cracks for Bethesda, and I think largely because the timeframes that they get released, like I feel like they have to get released in that fall/holiday time frame where they drop every game November, October, whatever. I think being part of Microsoft, I think can really benefit them, especially with the Game Pass structure that's set up. Like imagine where Microsoft gets to the point where And we always compare it to like the Netflix of games, but you think about Netflix, right? Netflix, every month they have like a marquee thing that drops in addition to all like the random TV shows and so on and so forth. So what if they get to the point where every month there's like a big Game Pass game that drops? So instead of having to worry about dropping Dishonored 3 in like a crowded November timeframe, whatever, what if they drop it in May or March where there's like nothing else going on? Then that game really gets a chance to shine. And then the next Prey gets dropped in January or something. Again, really gets a chance to shine. Like that's in addition to the blank checks that these studios are essentially getting from Microsoft to go out and make games and make AAA content. Like also just the pressure comes off for having to market in a certain time frame. Like there's just so much more flexibility with being a part of Microsoft, being in Game Pass. Like, oh man, it seems like these studios are really excited for these types of opportunities, and I really cannot wait to see what they're gonna do.
That's a good point too, because like I think about it, especially COVID. How are you supposed to be able to dance around another big AAA games title release date when they're probably going to change it a couple times before they? That's ridiculous stress right there to try to deal with, man. Oh my god, that's rough.
Yeah, it's hard, rough. Super hard to do. And then even kind of you referencing that reminds me of Bloober Team and the Medium, right? So it was supposed to come out in December, I think right around the time that Cyberpunk was coming out, a week after Cyberpunk. And then the game got pushed slightly because of Cyberpunk and slightly because of COVID. But then it got moved to a window in January, kind of all by itself, and it got a chance to shine, like that in Game Pass is an example of exactly what I'm talking about. Obviously, Bloober Team isn't owned by Microsoft or anything, but the concept still remains the same. They got their own window. They got their chance to shine. They're in Game Pass, so people could try the game out with no risk. Yeah, I mean, I can see that happening and kind of washing over the wave of Bethesda titles and all the other titles in, Xbox's stable. So, yeah, another win for Microsoft, I would say. We're looking forward to seeing what they've got going on for the rest of the summer. Definitely looking forward to seeing what PlayStation's got going on for the rest of the summer because, I feel like we haven't really gotten as many big announcements. It's going to be a wild year. It's going to be a wild year for sure.
Yeah, man.
Definitely.
But yeah. But, yeah, before we go, we'll cut off the podcast here. But before we go, guys, as always, Manny, where can the people find you?
You already know. We can find me on Twitch, Instagram, Goodmaster Flex.
Bro, what is that accent? What is that?
Oh, God.
Goodmaster Flex _TTV for Instagram and Twitter. But for Twitch, it's Goodmaster Flex. And that's where you can find your boy.
You already know
what country you was
from. You already know. Sounding like a bloke from the UK, the block.
But
you already know.
Oh, that was funny.
Oh man! All right, Chris, where can people find you, bro?
You alreey know, y'all. I'm on everything at MAY25THXX on everything. And that wouldn't be a plug without me plugging my Gmail. For them pen pals. I ain't got no pen pals in my shit yet. I better start seeing some in my inbox, y'all. Stop playing with me, man.
Random email. Hi, Chris.
Hey!
Oh, man. Oh, we got to get out of here. We're having too much fun.
Yeah.
Guys, you can find me, as always, at Black Ice 8 on everything. Xbox, PlayStation, Twitter, Twitch. Only difference, as always, is Instagram is blackice8_gaming. Definitely make sure to check us out. As always, with this video, like and subscribe. Tell us what you guys think about the podcast. Tell us what you like. Tell us what you don't like. Just engage with us, guys. We love to talk to you guys. As always, thank you guys so much. We'll talk to you guys next week. Peace.
See you later, alligators.